As we gather here, we find ourselves at the critical juncture in history. We are at the crossroads between digital and analog. The generation before us never experienced digital, and the generation after us will never experience analog. Therefore, our generation has a responsibility to provide the needed leadership to build a resilient, sustainable, and inclusive digital economy for all. Digital economy has transformed our lives, revolutionizing the way we create, connect, and conduct business. It has empowered individuals and nations, bridging gaps and creating opportunities. It has profoundly impacted the competitive dynamics. It raises hope. It challenges the conventional wisdom and reshapes the competitive landscape in several ways. By disrupting the traditional industries, lowering the barriers to entry, expanding the global reach and scalability, increasing the speed and agility, and enhancing customers' experience. So these fundamental modules have changed the way we do business, and also is shifting dramatically. Looking at it, we are witnessing three major paradigm shifts in the way we create value in our ecosystem. Firstly, the revolution of demand. It has changed. Internet has made it possible for us today to get what we want from anywhere in the world. There is no more customer loyalty. The online reviews has made it difficult for you to maintain your customers. Secondly, the revolution of supply. The channels we connect with our customers also has changed. Today, there are several ways you can expand your business. As the barriers to entry changed, that has provided an opportunities for startups to disrupt leading established businesses. Startups that does not have the required capabilities to enter market before, today are displacing established corporate businesses. Looking at how fintechs are becoming more valuable than banks, and also how platforms are making it possible to be a leader in an industry without having the basic requirement to start business before. For example, the largest taxi service provider owns not a single car. Just by providing a platform, Uber and many more are leading in that industry. In hospitality, Airbnb is the largest hospitality company, but owns not a single room. And also, if you look in media, Facebook is the largest media company, but it doesn't create content. You and I create content for Facebook. So looking at all these dynamics, the context of leadership also has changed. Today, to become a leader is no more about profit. You need to balance between so many factors, like creating value for your customers, investing in your employees, because today your company is as good as its next product, And the next product is as good as the people who make it. Therefore, you need to invest in your employees. You need to be able to attract and retain talent within your organizations. And also, you need to balance or become more fairly and ethical in your deal with your suppliers, as well as looking at the sustainability in terms of green energy and giving back to the communities. Because all these factors, you need to take them into consideration to lead in the digital economy. So looking at all this, Harvard Business Review identified 6 leadership paradox you need to master to become a leader in this ever-evolving landscape. Firstly, you need to be globally minded localist. You need to be able to balance the global with the local. So looking at this, in Nigeria, the government is trying to achieve that through different policies and regulations and laws as well. In 2019, the government came up with the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, looking at what is happening globally and how we can domesticate it in Nigeria. So as a leader in your organization also, you need to be able to balance between this. Secondly, you need to be a high integrity politician. You need to have the ability to navigate your ways to get things done while at the same time retaining your character or living your core values. Thirdly, you need to be humble hero. You need to be able or to have the confidence to lead and act in this uncertain world. At the same time also, you need to acknowledge when you are wrong. Before, leaders think they know it all. They don't listen to anybody, they just direct and lead. But today you need to lead from the room, not as a leader, as a head, just giving directives. Then fourthly, you need to be a strategic executor. You need to have the ability to execute effectively, but being strategic. You need to know where you are going. You need to map it out. That's why in Nigeria we have the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, which give us the strategic map of where we want to go, and also has helped us identify the capabilities we need to put in place in terms of infrastructure, regulation. We call it developmental regulation because our regulation is not to stifle innovation, but rather to create an opportunity. I had a side conversation with Yacht about what is our focus. Is it regulation or developmental? So I told him they're intertwined. You need to pursue the two at the same time, because our regulation focus is we regulate to create market. We regulate to enable innovation. We regulate to protect customers and consumers. And we regulate to improve service delivery. These are the 4 objectives of regulations we do. So if you achieve these objectives, you develop at the same time, because the regulation basically is to help unlock opportunities. And also, we encourage self-regulation, because we look at regulation from 2 angles. There is non-rule-based regulation and a rule-based regulation. A non-rule-based regulation is where we allow the industry self-regulate and set standard within themselves for new entrants to meet before they joined. Then the rule-based is whereby they have established that standard, but we have some players not complying with. Then at that time, we enforce so that everybody comply with the standard. So this is our approach to regulation. So we encourage self-regulation because the sector is so dynamic. It's not something you can regulate, because we look at regulation like putting a traffic light. So before you put a traffic light, you need to understand the traffic pattern before you put the traffic light. Without understanding, it will be difficult for you to achieve that. And also, we don't use armchair theory, sit in the office, come up with regulation for the sector, but we co-create, because we believe we don't know it all. We need to work with the ecosystem to co-create any regulation we do. Then fifthly, you need to be a tech-savvy humanist. You need to understand you need technology to run your businesses or your organization. But at the same time, you need to know that organizations are run by people for people. So as you build the technology, it's not about the technology, but it's about the business. You need to have your business architecture. Based on your business architecture, you identify the kind of capabilities you need. So technology always is the last, not the first. So as the CIO, you provide that buffer between the business and the technology. Because before, normally we rush for the latest technology, but you will never get what you want from the latest technology, because it is not about the technology, it's about the business. The technology, we call it enablers before, but today I think technology is more strategic partner, because it's a source of inspiration to even come up with your business model. Technology, three capabilities of technology: the data, ubiquitous data, unlimited connectivity, and massive processing power. This can inspire you to disrupt the way you do your business. And the sixth capability you need to build is being traditioned innovator, being able to learn from the past and plan your future. So innovation also is not just about bringing something new. Sometimes if you bring it, it can disrupt. So as you are bringing it, you need to be able to explore and exploit at the same time. What makes some businesses to collapse is because they focus more on exploitation. How can they do what they do better? So they focus just on that. But at the same time, as you are exploiting, you need to explore new things. Because without exploration, that's how you become disrupted. So others can come and take over your niche. So to achieve this, Paul Lewand and Matt, in their book, Beyond Digital, they identified 7 leadership imperatives you need to build in digital transformation. Firstly, you need to imagine your place in the world. Whether as an individual leader or as an organization, you need to always reimagine your place. You need to carve your niche and explore and exploit and explore at the same time to maintain that status. Then, secondly, you need to embrace and create value with the ecosystem. Nobody succeeds in isolation. You need to work as an ecosystem. You need to be able to work with startups, because it is easier to experiment with startups in an established businesses. So the startup can, like we've seen it in the financial sector, the fintech, how they are disrupting the market or the industry. So it's easier for you as a bank to come up with a startup to develop a fintech solution than trying to develop within yourself. So it's good to embrace that so that you create value via customers. Then you need to build a privileged insight with your customers. The world has changed. Before, we used to do market research to know what the customers want and just bring things to them. But today, with the revolution in the demand and the supply, you cannot succeed in that approach. You need to know your customers. You need to understand what they want. You need to be more empathetic, then use the insight to design products and services for them. Because digital offerings always change. Like I said earlier, your company is as good as its next digital offering. And your next digital offering is as good as the people who make it. So you need to get that insights and develop. Then you need to make your organization outcome-oriented. It is no more about who you are, but the value you are bringing. That's what matters. That's what the customers want, the suppliers, and everybody. Then you need to invert the focus of leadership team. We need to change the way we lead. Like in my agency, NITDA, when I joined in 2019, the first thing I did was to look at the mindset and the skill set of the people so that I will be able to deliver on my promises. Looking at that, basically in mainstream public service, the way things work is the CEO will minute to the director to the deputy, to the assistant, to the last person. The last person will do the work and send it back. The people in between, they don't read, they don't understand, they don't add any value. When it comes to me, if I ask the director to explain, he won't be able to explain to me. So I said to myself, this is not working, this is wasting my time, it's not adding value. I need to invert, I need to disrupt that. So I experimented having a platform structure by just setting a team, no respect to our status. You sit down, if I give them assignment, they'll sit, brainstorm, and just come up with the best result. That was the easiest way for me to deliver on my promises. So also now, I'm working on re-engineering the whole agency so that we deliver on the value. Because it's not about your status or your position. It is about the value you add to the agency, the work you do. How can we align performance with what you do on day-to-day activities? You find people coming to work without knowing what they are going to do. And if you ask them at the close of the work what they have done, they won't be able to tell you. But that is changing. We are changing all that, we are disrupting, and also I think that's the best way to lead in this ever-evolving landscape. Then the sixth one, you need to reinvent your the social contract with your people. You need to create that connection with the people you work with, because you are human, your staff are the most valuable resources for you. And if we don't reinvent that social contract, our staff will just find themselves like working in an environment, but we want them to see them working for you, but we want them to see themselves as working in the organization so that they take ownership, they will be part of the success, and they will see what they do as a calling. They don't need to wait for anyone to give them directives, and anything that will hurt the organization, they won't do it. But otherwise, you have malicious compliance in your organization. Then lastly, but not the least, you need to disrupt your leadership approach also. You need to lead, not to be like a boss, to be bossing your people, because you need the best to make the organization the best. So I think if you can all have this book, Beyond Digital, it will help you to understand the kind of capabilities you need today to lead in digital economy. In conclusion, I urge you all to embrace the immense possibilities that lie before us. The future of our digital economy is in our hands, and the decision we make today will reverberate for generations. Let us learn from the past, seize the present, and plan meticulously for the future. Doing this, we will help us unlock the true potential of the Nigeria's digital economy, or Africa's digital economy, since the summit is about Africa, not Nigeria. Let me not be selfish. So this will help us to unlock the potential of Africa's digital economy, fostering growth, productivity, and prosperity for all. Thank you, and may our collective efforts lead us to a brighter and more prosperous digital economy in Africa. Thank you for the opportunity.